Hello, my beautiful Chrysalis Collective. So I've got something a little different here for you today, and we're just going to kind of roll with it. I do have everything written down, so you are going to see me kind of look down and read from my book. We are going to be discussing a dream that I had last night, and I wanted to make sure that I had everything that I wanted to talk about written down so there was no forgetting anything, because every single piece that I was given in my dream means something. The symbolism, everything is important. Every little tiny detail is important, okay? So last night I had a dream that felt more like a vision. It touched something so deep within me, that grief, love, fear, family, boundaries, and confirmation, someone cutting grass outside, and protection. And even though it was very, very, very intense and very, very, very layered, it felt like something was prepping me for something, or kind of helping me have peace through things, things that have been stirring like in my real everyday today life. But this dream felt very loud and clear from spirit. And this message that is coming through from spirit is that I'm moving in the right direction. Even if I can't fully see, the big picture or everything that's happening, like if I can't see all the pieces, I still am moving in the right direction. Okay. Now, this video is part dream diary, it's part channeled message. And I am trusting in the fact that if you're finding this, if this video is landing on your YouTube For You page, someone sent it to you, you get a notification for it. However this is finding you, I'm trusting that it's finding you for a reason, okay? That there's something in it for you. Now, before we get into what the dream is and the symbolisms and all of that, I do want to start by saying that how I am showing up in this video is very intentional. The fact that my hair is, not prim and proper and put together, my little braids are kind of doing its own thing, and I don't really know what my bangs are doing at this very particular moment either, but like, it's for a reason. It is on purpose, because I wanted to show up exactly as I am, in the middle of all the mess, looking like a mess, because that is part of this message. When we get into the deeper parts of the dream, it is part of the message, okay? The dream had a lot of chaos and a lot of different layers, and it reminded me that we don't have to wait until everything is perfect to show up and to speak our truth, okay? We don't have to be polished. We don't have to look polished. The message doesn't have to be polished. Just show up and share it, okay? And then I'm also choosing to wear red. Okay, you will later on figure out why I'm choosing to wear red, but it's intentional, okay? Something showed up in my dream that were the color red. They showed up at the end of the dream, and then in my waking moments, when I woke up this morning, the red still appeared, okay? So the red is grounding. It's the root chakra energy. It offers safety and presence. So this is me showing up in the middle of all of it. I'm messy, I'm grounded, and I'm honest. Okay. So now that I've set this space for you, Okay. I do want to take you into the dream. This was not just a dream. Okay. This was not just a dream. This was a message, and it was a reflection. And I don't feel like this was only for me. I feel like this is for you too. Either you are going through this currently. This is almost like a warning. I don't want to say that it's a warning like you need to watch out, but almost like a precursor of what could be for you. Okay. But it just feels like this is not only for me. This is something for you too. And I think this message will resonate for everybody, but only when it's time for them or you to resonate with it. Okay. I feel like this is obviously a timeless message. It doesn't feel like there's any urgency of like, there's a time frame for this. So I do feel like it just depends on where you're at in life, where the people in your life are at, whatever. It's going to show up for everyone differently, but also like the same underlying meaning type of thing. And it's also going to show up exactly when it's supposed to show up. Okay. But this dream honestly felt like a glimpse behind the curtain. Okay. Like I was able to see, and the Wizard of Oz is coming to mind, where, Toto pulls down the curtain and shows behind the curtain that there's someone else. Like it's not what everything is made to appear. Like it, that illusion, like I was able to peek behind the curtain to see past the illusion. I am going to share with you in the order of which this dream was given to me, in the exact order, how it happened. And I'm not usually able to remember all of my dream. So the fact that I was able to actually remember all of this, and I wasn't able to remember it all in one sitting. Like there were moments where everything just kept coming in slowly and slowly and slowly. And that literally never happens. So just the fact that even was able to happen was absolutely profound for me. Okay. So the dream starts, at least from what I could remember, in a kind of controlled, disturbing type place. It was kind of giving the Nazi camp type of vibes, like if you catch my drift. So it just felt cold. It felt dark. It felt like no one truly mattered. Okay. Which all was like very, 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 very interesting. Okay. But there comes a moment within this dream where I am presented with a choice to be able to select someone to go with a master. Because it felt like very, very, very like low class type of energy, where it was like this person of higher class, more money, whatever, was able to purchase or whatever someone of the lower class in this like controlled environment. Okay. Now why I was chosen to make the choice, I really have no idea why. Like, I don't know the actual reason in the dream why I was able, like why I had to make this choice. We will kind of get a little bit into that a little bit after this part, like after I describe what's happening. But I was selected to select someone to go with this master person. And in this moment, it felt utterly wrong to do that, to have to choose someone within our group to go with this master. Now, I don't remember if I was able to select myself or not. I don't remember if that was any part of it. Like, I don't know if I could have selected myself, but that thought didn't actually cross my mind to select myself. Even, you know, with this next part, it will make a little bit more sense. But this choice that I had to make did feel utterly wrong, but it was also the only way to free someone from, free and protect someone from where we were at in this controlled, disturbing place. It felt like the only way that that person was able to be freed. Like, it kind of felt like a better situation than where we were all at, if that makes sense. Okay. And I was, again, going back to that, it didn't feel like that thought didn't even cross my mind to like save myself from that, like save myself. And my son was in this too. But it didn't feel like, it felt like I needed to save someone else, give someone else the opportunity to free themselves or to be free from where we were at, instead of myself. So anyways, but the choices of people that I could choose from, there were a mix of people that I knew and a mix and then the other part was like people that were total strangers, complete strangers, didn't know who they were. Okay. I decided to choose a stranger who was a mother with several children to be able to go with this master. Okay. They also had 2 kittens, which we'll talk more about that later on in this dream sequence as well. But I chose to choose the mother with the several children to be removed from the horrible place that we were at to a place that offered a little bit more safety and security than where we were at. Okay, but this entire part of the dream felt like a soul test. Okay, it felt like a soul test from spirit, like choosing someone I didn't know that carried the life and innocence, was a much, much, much deeper choice from my heart and not using logic. I feel like it was like my soul versus my ego. My ego could have chosen someone I knew to save them instead, but my soul knew what was right in that moment, and that was to save a mother with multiple children and the 2 kittens. Okay, so this was a moment of moral and soul alignment. Okay, it was a test of what my soul values. Okay, now going into this next part of the dream, I don't know exactly how it happened, but somehow my son and I managed to escape from this place. And there wasn't fear or chaos when escaping. It was definitely more an energy of peace and clarity. So it was very easy, and it just, I'm not quite sure how it happened. But to me, this part of the dream represents like any of the mental prison that I've been doing for myself lately. I'm currently trying to free myself from these things. Okay. But we somehow end up back at our house, and my husband, is in this dream too, but he only appears in the dream when we're at home. So him, like, he is my safe space. He's the grounded, stable anchor that we have, my son and I have. He is that anchor for us. And the fact that my son was with me through this whole thing kind of tells me that we we not only have our separate journeys in life, but him and I have a journey that works together too, okay? But my husband may not have been on every journey and may not be on all of my journeys that I do experience and through all of my channels and all of the things that I'm, doing in this lifetime to help myself, help people around me, and help complete strangers on the internet. He may not always be a part of it, but he's always that safe space that I can come back to when things get tough, or whenever I do need that grounding, or if I just need that safe space, he is there. Okay. This is a soul reminder to not only myself, but to my son, that we're never alone when it truly matters. Like, we are never alone. Even if we are alone, like, we're never alone because we have my husband, but also we have spirit team and spirit guides and spirit, universe, God, source, whatever labels you choose to use. We have that energy surrounding us always as well. Okay. So then at some point, my son and I, we wanted to go and get those kittens. This is where they come back into play. We wanted to go get those kittens because I was kind of getting the energy in my dream that they weren't necessarily safe. Like they weren't, like they needed help. Like they needed help that the people that had them couldn't give. Like they were sick or something. There was something with them that we felt that we could give them that the other people couldn't give. So we wanted to kind of go on this journey to go save these kittens, even though it might not have been a safe journey. That even though we could potentially face danger, that we still wanted to go and try and save these very innocent, pure types of creatures, whatever. Okay. Now, this next part is the weirdest, but also like the most profound part of the dream. We ended up, okay, so the way that we traveled to go find these kittens was by trash planes. And I'm not entirely sure how to really describe these trash planes, other than the main part looked like the back of a trash truck, like where the trash goes. It was just like a massive thing of that. And I'm not entirely sure like how to describe what else it looks like, other than like it kind of looked like that. But like obviously it had to have wings of some sort. It had to have some kind of driving system somewhere, but the main part that I was focused on was the fact that the back kind of looked like a trash truck. Okay. So even though that the trash plane was very chaotic, they were very peaceful to ride in. Okay. It was very smooth. And it was a lot easier than driving, okay? Because most people that were driving were stuck in traffic. Like they were in their cars, stuck in traffic, trying to follow that normal path. And the path that I was taking, or the path that my son and I were taking, the trash truck, was not something that people would do, right? So that part was, just super, super, super symbolic. Okay. Because sometimes the path that we're meant to take might look like trash to someone else. It might look chaotic and messy, and it might not look normal, but it's the path that you're supposed to take. Okay. It's the path of least resistance. We could have chosen to take a bus, take a car and sit in that traffic, and who knows how long it would have taken to get to wherever, but the path of least resistance, there was no traffic in the sky. So we chose the messy part. We chose the part of least resistance. We chose the parts that people might not normally take because it looks messy, because it looks dirty, because it, you know, might smell. Like, we chose that. And it kind of shows that, you know, it's okay to be messy. It's okay to look a mess. It's okay to show up authentically as you are. Okay? So, but it really hit that sometimes your sacred path looks like trash to someone else, but Spirit knows how to move you through life. It may not make sense to other people on the outside, but it makes total sense for you, and it feels like freedom. Okay? Now, as we're flying through the sky, I notice a cut in the sky, almost as if you have a piece of paper and someone cuts a hole in between the piece of paper. I noticed a cut in the sky. I couldn't quite see exactly what was beyond the cut, but I saw the cut, okay? Almost like, you know, kind of like a paper ripped, kind of open. Like, you can kind of see, but you can't really see, okay? But it revealed that in the dream, the sky was not real, that it was just a construct, okay? That the illusion was breaking. And it's very profound because, you know, as we're in this trash truck, dealing with the mess, dealing with things that might be messy, dealing with our emotions that people may not want to even feel, you know, kind of not being in that toxic positivity, and recognizing that we have real emotions and that we are human and that we are able to pay attention to these things, and that we're meant to focus on these things. We're meant to feel the light and the dark. We're meant to mix them together. We're not meant to completely, you know, disband the shadow self and disband the ego. Like, we have to work with all of it together because we are human, okay? We are human. We're human, okay? We're meant to feel everything deeply. And if you're not feeling everything deeply, then therein lies the truth that you may have an ego problem. That you're looking for toxic positivity instead of finding real positivity by working through things that you don't want to talk about or handle or deal with. But it felt like I was this cut, this gash, whatever, in the sky. Felt like I was being shown something that I was not supposed to see, that I was not supposed to be privy to. Even though I couldn't see what was behind it or through it, I still felt like that was something that I should not have seen. And I didn't talk about it in my dream. I didn't talk about it. I just kind of thought about it like, oh, that's really interesting. I didn't say it out loud to anyone in my dream or anything, but it just felt like I was not supposed to see. And it felt like I was being able to take a peek behind the curtain, that there was some truth that's being leaked through that I shouldn't have seen, but I saw. So I was meant to see it, but I was not meant to see it, if you catch my drift. So the message being like, I'm starting to kind of see past the illusions that used to live inside me, that I'm changing from the inside out. And my dream is just a confirmation of that, big confirmation. So then after that, we arrive to find that the kittens actually did not survive. They didn't survive very long. So my son and I were both very heartbroken about this. But while we were there, we saw the man, the master, and, you know, he told me something. He told me that the people that I chose earlier, the mother and the children and the kittens, that they weren't actually imprisoned or enslaved. That it was all just a ploy for them to be freed. And that they were saved. And I'm feeling really emotional about that because in the dream, it was such a hard choice. It was such a hard choice because it just felt in that moment that I was, having to give someone up to the lesser of two evils, right? Like I was struggling with it in the dream. And the thing that I was struggling with turned out to be the exact thing that saved an entire family. That had I not made that choice, something worse could have happened. Had I chosen someone that I knew or whatever, I could have potentially wiped out an entire family. And there was like relief that came through with that, finding out that the choice that I made did save a family. Even if I was not completely aware of what was happening and what the choice was, and I didn't fully understand, but I trusted the intuitive nudge that I felt in my dream. I trusted that. I trusted that I should choose that family because I didn't want them to perish where we were. I wanted them to be able to succeed in life and be able to have a better life than what we were having in that beginning part of the dream. So to find out that they were saved was just a very amazing form of cosmic justice. And Spirit was saying that even when you don't know the whole plan, trust your love because it's enough. Trust your heart. Trust your heart. So we end up coming back home again. I don't know how, but we end up back home again. My husband's at home, so that peaceful grounding energy is still there. And he doesn't say anything in the parts that he's in. Like, he doesn't physically say anything. So it's just his grounding energy is there in the dream. And it kind of gives that safe feeling like, okay, we're home, we're safe. All right. So then my son ends up on a phone call, a FaceTime, with some family members, and I was near him, but I was, behind him. I was holding the phone. He was in front of me, kind of like when you're sitting in a chair, like when you're sitting on the edge of the chair and you have like the child is standing in between your legs. That's what it was. Like, I was sitting and he was standing in between my legs and I was holding the phone. I was like out of it, but it was more him, but I was holding the phone for him. But I was not part of this call. Like, I was not talking. I was not any part of this phone call other than holding the phone for him and standing behind him. So I was just observing all of it. And what struck me was that I didn't feel sad about not being in the conversation. I didn't feel mad that I wasn't in the conversation, because it just felt like I wasn't part of it. I didn't need to be in that space. That was not something for me to be a part of, but just to observe. And so like my peace wasn't tied to being included in this conversation at any point. It came from just being there and observing what was happening. Okay. And this kind of ties into like things that I've been feeling lately. And learning that sometimes we're not meant to engage in situations or with people. Sometimes, you know, sometimes we're meant to just love people from afar, and not have that engagement. And that's okay. Okay, we can still love people and choose distance. Two things can be true at the exact same time. Okay? Now, do this if, you know, if this is what you're feeling like your spirit needs, okay? Peace can exist without connection. I'm going to say it again. Peace can exist without connection. Okay? So we're still home. And two red birds, here we go. Two red birds show up inside the house. And at first, like, we could not touch them at all. We would try to touch them. They would fly away. Okay? We were not able to touch them. Okay? There was a very small bird, like a tiny bird. And then the other one was like a larger bird. They were both red. They weren't all, like, their full body wasn't red. It was mainly like kind of like chest was red. I don't even know what kind of bird it was. It was not a cardinal. I don't even know if like these birds are like real birds. I'm not entirely sure, but just more was like head was red and like chest was red, and like I think the rest was brown or cream colored. Anyways, but the red stood out. The red was the important part. The rest of the color was not the important part, but the red was the important part. And at some point, you know, we were allowed to touch them or hold them, and it didn't happen right away. Like I said, like we were not able to, like if you tried, they would fly away. But it was like we had to wait to be invited to hold these birds or touch these birds or whatever. Like we were trusted to be close to these birds. So my son and myself wanted to keep the birds, especially after the whole kitten fiasco part of the dream. We wanted to keep them because these birds just, they appeared like a gift, like we were supposed to have them. It was something for us. But at some point, the big one ends up pooping on one of my tarot cards. One of my not my tarot cards, like a tarot deck. One of the new ones that I actually got. My favorite one, actually, to be completely honest. So when birds poop in dreams, or, you know, in real life, when they poop, like when you get poop, if a bird poops on you, it means good luck, right? You've heard that all of your life. Bird poops on you, it's good luck. Okay? So, but it can represent those unexpected blessings. It can represent the good luck, and it can also represent a spiritual clearing. Okay, so very, very, very symbolic to, you know, all of the things that personally for myself that I have been dealing with and going through. And the messages that I've been receiving the past couple days of like, I need to heal. I need to heal this, and I need to work through this. And I think that this was a message that I am healing it, and I'm not holding on to it like I was. Okay. So the bird pooping was messy, but it was very meaningful. Perfect symbolism. But Spirit was also affirming that I am a messenger, and I am meant to be sharing messages and experiences and whatever with the collective, with people out there who are willing to listen. And, you know, sometimes I'm going to be put on the For You page of people who don't want to listen, and you could be one of them. You could be one of those ones that are like, I don't want to hear this. I am put exactly where I'm meant to be, and I know that. And I know that some people might not always, I'm hearing, jive with me. People might not always jive with me, but I know that I'm there for a reason, not only for them to acknowledge, what they need to do and how they need to handle things and whatever, but also for myself too, because I feel like I'm put in situations where I don't always feel the safest. So that way I can be that safe space for myself, and remember that I have my husband and my son who are safe spaces for me as well. Okay? And that I'm always protected and I'm always safe. Even if the outside world doesn't accept me for who I am or for how I show up, that I can accept myself, and that my husband accepts me, and that my son accepts me. Okay? So to tie this into this morning, my son wore red to bed last night. And this morning, so he woke up in red still. And this morning, my husband chose to wear a red shirt to work. My little bird and my big bird, they showed up in the morning to collect it all together. And it was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was like Spirit is showing me, I'm going to get a little emotional here. It's like Spirit was showing me my two anchors, that if I ever feel crazy, or if I ever feel like I need some form of anchoring down when I'm doing all of this work with other people, for myself, like I can look at them and recognize and realize that they are my anchors. They're here to protect me as well as me protect myself. That they are a safe space for me to be all of me, to show up exactly how I'm supposed to, exactly how I'm meant to. Okay? I am safe. I belong. And I am grounded. They are that energy for me. They are the safe, belonging, grounded energy. Okay. Now, this dream definitely felt like a sacred transmission from my higher self. I honestly did not even look at the Schumann resonance last night, so there could be something in that too. I'm not entirely sure. I have not looked at anything this morning. I'm sure that the Schumann resonance had something going on last night. But it definitely felt like a sacred transmission from my higher self and my spirit team. Because it showed me that even in chaos, even in grief, confusion, or illusion, that I am still protected. That I'm still choosing love, whether that's love for other people or love for myself. No matter what the situation is, I am still choosing love no matter what. And that I'm still also being shown the truth that is beneath the surface. The trash plane, that's my path. The one that no one else is taking. The tear in the sky, that's my awakening. Another awakening. By the way, side note, just because you go through an awakening does not mean that you won't have more awakenings. It's always happening, and it's always going to continue to happen. Even though you've already awakened once, you can continue to awaken in other aspects of life too. Okay? And the red birds, that's the grounding energy that says that you're safe, you're still connected, and you're still whole. So to end this, if you're watching this and you've been grieving a loss, or you have been making hard decisions, or you're feeling like the sky above you just isn't real. I want you to know that your love is real. Your path is still moving, and your red birds are still flying. I hope that this message resonates for you, and I hope that it's able to give you some form of clarity. And if you want to reach out for a reading, the only ways that you can do that are through the description box or through my website in the bio. I do not reach out to you. Please do not get scammed. You have to reach out to me. But I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing if you accept it. And I hope you have a great day or night whenever it is that you are finding this, whenever this is finding you, whenever you watch it. I hope that you have amazing revelations and amazing healing that could potentially come from this. And again, I'm trusting that Spirit is going to put this video to who it needs to, when it needs to. Not a moment before and not a moment after. Exactly when it's supposed to. I love you.